Dun, 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 dun. Let's go.
So we are back with Mr. James Lovett. This is a video he posted just a few days ago to his channel. It's very interesting, has some interesting ideas, and one thing that it deals with is the Black's Law Dictionary. Sovereign citizens love the Black's Law Dictionary. Love it. Absolutely love it. So this is James talking about his new purchase, the Black's Law Dictionary Edition 11 Deluxe Edition. All right, he's very proud. Let's listen to what he has to say.
What it is, guys, it's your boy the Bad Wolf. All right, so what are we talking about in this particular episode? First of all, I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. We are right around the corner from 10,000, and hey, by the time you guys are seeing this,
good for him, really. I mean, 10,000 subscribers is an accomplishment.
We might be there, so early congrats. That also being said, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting the other channel, the Bad Wolf Media channel, Black Side 32, which is where you guys get the knowledge dropped on you. A lot of it for free. And also, I know some of you guys said that the voice could be a little bit louder for some people with hearing impairment. So I've got the amplifier on, so hopefully that helps out. So I apologize.
Yeah, I certainly do appreciate that too, James. The last video I reviewed, you could barely hear you, and I apologize about that. I did my best, but so I'm glad this is a little louder.
For those people, wasn't trying to be, not, accommodating. I just didn't know that it wasn't recording so good.
Let's just take a minute to talk about what's behind him. That's the big screen behind him that he usually has his websites and stuff that he talks about. But we see behind him, it is a camera monitor. Like, it's monitoring video cameras, presumably around his property. But oh my God, look how many cameras. It's all down one side and along the bottom, presumably. I mean, he's blocking most of it, but still you can tell that it's video cameras. And wow, that's a next level paranoia right there.
Not an expert at this stuff. So anyway, let's get to it.
No, he is not an expert in really anything.
So, as you've seen, your boy got the Black Law Dictionary number 11, but it's the deluxe edition. So if you're going to get one, I highly suggest getting the fat boy. Yeah, man. All right, so because one of my peoples out there has my 5th edition and still hasn't given it back, see, don't borrow stuff to individuals.
What?
All right, so anyway, at least they're getting their education on, at least I hope he is. So, the new one, what do we got in here? All right, well, first of all, let's take a look in the... Okay, so this one is very up to date, guys. And so in talking with some other people, they're like, oh, why would you get a new one? You need the old one. Okay, let's just hear the...
Why would you get the old one at all? Because the old one supports, or you claim it supports, your arguments about driving versus traveling, blah, 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 blah. And now we're seeing something interesting that has happened with the new one. Yes, let's continue.
Wolf out. So the problem with getting, well, let me say this correctly. You can't really lose by getting a new one or an old one. However, the old ones do have all of the good info in it. Okay.
Yeah, the old ones have information that you claim supports your argument, right? That's why you hold on to the old ones, like 5th edition, 6th edition, that kind of thing, because you the new one, as we're seeing, may be different. It might have changed certain definitions.
All the ways that they used to see us and the things that they would call us when you would look up the word person or drive or certificates, things like that, and how they would label us. Okay, so all the goodies are in there and they can't undo that. So if you can get your hands on one, like I'm thinking.
Yes, they can, James. It's a dictionary. That's all it is a dictionary. It has no force of law, okay? And it's updated regularly, just like Merriam-Webster's dictionary is updated regularly. Definitions change.
While picking up the first edition. I think I got this one right here for like 100 and something, and I think it's about the same for an advertisement for Black Law's Dictionary 1. So I'm going to get that at some point in time, but
it would be interesting as an academic research if you wanted to compare the editions, where you wanted to or you wanted to compare the first edition to the 11th edition, see how different definitions have changed over the years. I mean, that's perfectly fine, but that's an academic exercise. It doesn't mean anything.
Funds are a little low right now, so we're going to wait off on that one. This bad boy was already expensive enough. But the thing is when you get a new one, you can see where they're at with their progress. Like I've always told you guys, when I move, you move. Okay, when they move, we move. All right. So as we keep moving, all those Wolvians, they're going to move. All right. And I'll get to explaining that in a second. So, but we have to stay apprised to what new definitions they have for old words, as you're going to see shortly. Because if we don't, and we go into court, which I don't recommend in the special appearance, but the whole thing is you don't want to be quoting things that aren't current. So you go in there and you're like, well, this is what the meaning of that is, and blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem with that is they're going to say, do you know that, good man? That definition is no longer valid. And all their colleagues are going to laugh at you. So you have to know where the new things are. Now, you don't have to buy one every year, but I would probably buy every other one if you can. And trusting what's online might be old, might be rewritten by somebody, you never know. So
what's available online would definitely be the most up-to-date information. That's the beauty of the internet, is that information can be updated the moment it changes. Yeah, unless you're reading like legit fake news, which I am sure that this guy is a heavy Fox News watcher, probably. It's just he's cringy.
Let's get it right from the horse's mouth. All right, so and trust me, I've had this happen. Where back in the old days when I was quoting UCC 1-207, and it had just changed to 308. And they were like, nope, we don't see this because, this is no longer valid, or this isn't valid. They wouldn't tell me why. I didn't know that it had changed. But remember, they stay up to date. Okay, guys? And all the things that we do, everything from doing these LPNs to utilizing the definition of the word drive, which we'll get to in a second, the UCC codes, they stay up to date, guys. They get paid to do this. This is their bread and butter. So if you're gonna be part of this, you have to stay on it too. Just by having the old books and going by the old definitions. Now the only way you can really get away with that is if you're going to quote it from there or put it at the bottom of your files, your affidavits, and say, this is my interpretation of it based on the information from way back then. But even then, if they want to trump you, they're just going to say, you got to get the new one, brah.
If they're going to trump you, it's because lawyers use documentation, they cite case law, they do their research, they investigate the laws themselves. They don't rely on Black's Law Dictionary. It's just a dictionary.
I see you don't have the deluxe edition. All right? And then what leg do you have to stand on? Well, from my perspective, I'm going to say, but you're in my court.
Your perspective doesn't matter. The law is the law. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I mean, in James's case, he's not the one doing the interpreting. It's the judge that does the interpreting of the law. You can appeal his decision and his interpretation and application of the law that is within your right. Just saying that you don't agree with the judge's definition, therefore your argument is invalid, is ridiculous. He's a judge, okay? And you are not even a lawyer, okay? My brother's a lawyer, and he went to school for a long time. That's 2 degrees, 2 academic degrees. And I doubt this guy has finished his BA.
Okay, so if you're going to go into their things and play their games, then you better know all of their up-to-date rules. Period. All right.
That's why you should never represent yourself. That, you know what they say, a man who represents himself as a fool for a client. And that is very true, especially when it comes to sovereign citizens, because they think that they know the law better than people that have been studying it for years and decades. So the arrogance is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, yes, the information is out there. It is on the internet. You can find it if you do your research and find the right stuff. If you look up the case law, if you look up the Supreme Court decisions and stuff like that, and follow that, and they do use Supreme Court decisions in their arguments, but the court decisions that they cite rarely have anything to do with what they're using them as a defense for. So anyway, let's continue.
Two. Only because this always comes up, and if you're a U.S. national, American national, state citizen, foreign national, non-resident, alien, non-combatant, non-belligerent.
I have no words. I have no idea what he's talking about. I've talked about U.S. citizen versus U.S. national before, and that is a real thing. But it only applies if you were born in American Samoa or Swains Island. Those are the only time it applies. So just refreshing people's memory if you forget that. And so, yeah, I think all those terms are just things that he made up.
Smoking.
Smoking.
We got to get to the word drive. Let's check it out. So, in the new version, driver says 15C, okay? 1, someone who steers and propels a vehicle. Oh yeah, that's it. They took out the whole part about it being commercial, but let's go on and see what else they have to say. 2, someone who herds animals, a drover. 3, a piece of software that allows a computer to work with another piece of hardware, such as a mouse or a printer. That is the base definition now that they have for drive.
Yep, that's it. It was always that. I mean, didn't use those words. The definition that they like to use is that there's a difference between driving commercially versus civilly, which is absolute nonsense. The United States Constitution gives each state the power to govern certain things, roads being one of them, okay? And all the states have very similar laws, maybe it's difference in wording, but the spirit of the law says that if you're going to use public roads, we want you to be licensed, okay? That's it. If you're going to use public roads, the state wants you to be licensed. You cannot use the public roads, or you cannot use a car, automobile, conveyance, whatever you want to call it. You can't use that equipment on public roads without being licensed. That's it. Everybody's subject to that, so it's just nonsense. It's all nonsense.
Why? Because now the state's like, well, I won't mention the state. It starts with a. Now, instead of them not having the word drive in there under their definition.
I think there's only one state that starts with W, so I don't understand what point he was making.
For driver, driver's license, whatever else, and driving, they can put that in here. See? I'm saying they change these things, guys, so that way, that's the official definition. But let's go on. From there, they go into talking about driver responsibility assessment. Okay, that's a new thing. Driver education.
Assessment is a test. Okay? Like when you take a driving test, that's an assessment. The state would like that you take a test so that the state can certify that you know what you're doing. And that's, yeah, so weird.
From 1950, driver's license. 1882, the state issued certificate, so it's a certificate,
Sure is.
authorizing a person to operate a motor vehicle, an official document or card stating that the owner is legally allowed to drive. It is also used as a form of identification, and then it goes into commercial driver's license, conditional driver's license, hardship license, restricted driver's license, driver's test, driving. Okay. Once again, it's 15C, the act of directing the course of something such as an automobile or a herd of animals. So now they not only put in motor vehicle, but now they're also incorporating automobile in here.
Because they mean the same thing, James. They're synonyms. Okay? Automobile, vehicle, it all means the same thing. It all does.
Okay. Driving under the influence, driving while impaired, driving while intoxicated, baby DWI, common law DWI, driving while intoxicated, charged to be proved not by chemical test but by testimony about defendant's physical condition, felony DW per se. Okay, so yeah, they're splitting it up now, but they're no longer talking about that this is for commercial. I mean, they have a section there, but now they're saying commercial driver's license. Before, the word drive and driver were specifically commercial. Now we know it still is.
No, it's not.
State sanctioned or whatever else, or federally, but just going to show. So now, let's say, guys, sometimes you might have to go back through your own paperwork and update some stuff here. Let's see if I can.
I'm so glad he was prepared for this.
Municipal, moving, mugshot, motor vehicle. Okay. See vehicle. See, one of the things they're not supposed to do by standards in the English language is to use the same word to define the same word.
It's like using the word in a sentence, but the sentence doesn't define the word. It's like he's not wrong.
Okay, that's a no-no. But then again, is this truly an English book? American English or British English?
Why would it be British English, James? Why? The book was printed in the United States, presumably. So why would it be British English?
Okay, so now they're saying a motor vehicle is just to be defined as a vehicle. So let's see what that says. If I can find it. All right. Vehicle, an instrument of transportation or conveyance. Any conveyance used in transporting passengers or things by land, water, or air. Motor vehicle. A wheeled conveyance that does not run on rails and is self-propelled. You can challenge that word, because that could mean moving by itself.
That's exactly what self-propelled means, James.
One powered by an internal combustion engine, a battery, or fuel cell, or a combination of these.
Seems pretty concise.
See what they did there, guys? Took away the one of the outs in our arguments.
It was never an out in your argument. What it's referring to is that whole driver versus traveler. Driving, you're not driving because you're not in commerce, or you're not doing commerce. So you're not driving. That's their argument. ridiculous because, like I said before, the state still requires that if you're going to use public roads, if you're going to operate a motor vehicle on public roads, the state wants you to be licensed. Period.
So that's how it's played. Now, before we get ready to go here, other things that are in here: legal maxims. The Declaration of Independence is in the back. Constitution of the United States of America. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That's some of the stuff that I put in some of my paperwork in there as well. So there you go. Members of the United States Supreme Court. Federal Circuit map. British regnal years. Regnal years.
I have no idea what that means.
Okay. Bibliography of books cited. Acknowledgements, abbreviations, and other contributions. So that's it, guys. That's the book in a nutshell. So get your hands on the Black Laws number 11th edition, and that is the deluxe version. The other ones are a little bit cheaper, about half the price, but they're not going to have all the extra goodies and stuff. All right, so always don't skip. If that's all you can get it by all means. Something's better than nothing. Other than that, it's the Bad Wolf. I'm over and out. More videos to make. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for supporting.
Okay, so he's finished talking. Let's move on. Let me show you what I've found here. Yeah, that's not what I want. Black's Law Dictionary. Where we are. Here we go. Free online. Look. Free online legal dictionary. Black's Law Dictionary. What is this? Huh. Interesting. It's a online legal dictionary, and I didn't have to pay a cent. Isn't that nice? Oh, sure, it may not have the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, those kinds of things in this one, but I mean, again, those are things I can find pretty easily online. So that was James talking about the Black's Law Dictionary, and I just would like to reiterate again that the Black's Law Dictionary is only a dictionary. It has no force of law behind it. So, and we can see now that the legal definition of driver, it does no longer even mention in a commercial capacity. So thank you very much, James, for blowing your whole argument about driving versus traveling out of the water. Just blew it right out of the water. It's gone. You can no longer use that as an argument. Sorry.